Welcome to One on One with Mitch Lafon. Joining me on this episode, it is drummer Simon Wright. We talk about Operation Mindcrime, Dio Disciples, new album, Hologram tour, and more. Led Zeppelin, John Bonham, AC/DC, Cliff Williams' retirement, Axl Rose, UFO Michael Schenker, AC/DC, Fly on the Wall, Holy Diver, and a lot more. We covered them. We covered everything. So there you go. So enjoy that. Before enjoying the episode, please check me out on Twitter at Mitch Lafon, MITCHLAFON. One-on-One Mitch Lafon is the Facebook page, and paypal.me/Mitch Lafon should you care to support the podcast. And with that, here is the one, the only, undeniable drummer to the stars, Simon Wright. We are speaking with Simon Wright, currently on tour with Operation Mindcrime. Good day, sir.
Good day, Mitch. How are you doing?
Good. Pleasure talking to you. Now, I saw you with Operation Mindcrime in Ottawa at the Brass Monkey earlier this year. It was an absolutely phenomenal performance. The band, you, Jeff, everybody just sounds great.
Thanks. I'm glad you liked it. I'm glad you enjoyed it. That's great. It was a good show. Yeah, the band is, I've been playing with Jeff since it was Jeff Tate's Queens. Right now it's Operation Mindcrime and stuff. So, we've kind of pulled things in and got a lot tighter and stuff. And we have a newish guitar player, Scott Morton, who's come in as well. And it's all really gelled, and it seems to be really working well. So it's all good.
Yeah,
great
really
show. That was a good one. Good people there at that club.
Yeah, the guys that run it there, Scotty and Dion, do a great job. Now, the band just released Resurrection. You played on most of the tracks, not all. Just if you can, before we get to Dio Disciples and all that, just talk to me about that album and the sound that the band was trying to get.
Well, it was, you see, the way things are done with the albums and stuff, they're done up there. I live in Los Angeles. They're done up there in Seattle, and those guys kind of work on it and hone it and come up with the ideas like you do when you're writing an album and stuff. So my input was not a great input. There was a couple of tracks that I did on the album, and they worked those into songs. And I think the album is it just I was blown away. I didn't realize that was the way it was going to come out. It's a little different. It's a little sort of kind of avant-garde in places and all sorts of stuff going on. But I think they did a fantastic job, and it just seems to be getting more and more progressive, which I think is very cool. So yeah.
Yeah, it really is. So Dio Disciples, the band has been together in one form or another for a few years now. Is there plans at some point to get an album made?
Yes, there definitely is. We've got songs that we're working on off and on at the moment. We're fine-tuning things. Hopefully it's looking like it might be some point next year. And next year we will be going out with the hologram that we did, the hologram show in last couple of months ago in Germany at Wacken. So it's going to be a very busy time next year. And hopefully, yes, we'll have an album out.
Oh, so talk to me about that hologram show, because I'm curious to know how it works. Is the band playing fully live, and of course then the vocals are brought in, or
yeah?
Okay, so how difficult is that for you as a drummer to keep that live vibe and yet still play to the recorded vocal track? I'm baffled by how it all works.
Well, it's pretty simple, really. The track was done with a click track, and I play to the click track. We programmed the click track to Ronnie's performance because it's impossible just to play along with Ronnie because there are so many, ups and downs, and most the takes of Ronnie are taken from live shows and stuff. So it's pretty much impossible to just get it absolutely right with him because each show is different. So we program the click track to Ronnie, and I have in-ears or headphones, and I play along to the click track, and hopefully I can hear the click track because that could be a major problem if I get off that click track. So Yeah, I'm kind of in a little bit in the hot seat there, but the rest of the band is playing live, and I have them in my monitors as well, so I can hear them, and that's basically how it worked and how it's going to work. So yeah, that's that.
So how is that set up in term? I mean, obviously there's no flexibility because it has to stay to what the vocals are, but how is the image created in terms of getting it on stage, and how is it for you? I mean, do you actually see the hologram from where you're sitting, or I'm baffled by the whole magic of it all.
Well, it's created by a company called Illusion, a gentleman called Jeff Pizzuti. No, I can't see what's going on. We're going to rectify that, I think, because I think I need to see it, and maybe I don't need to see it. It might freak me out, but it's all I can see from the back on the riser is just the light of it. It's not a full image; it's just a light. You can see it from the front, and I think you can see it from the sides. I did get to see it when we rehearsed with it. The image was off to the right, so I could see it that way, and that was something else to see. I mean, Craig and Bjorn got up on the side next to Ronnie, and that was goosebumps. That was quite a moment. But we'll end up putting some monitors up so I can actually see Ronnie performing. But as it stands at the moment, no, I can't see him. It's just like a light.
Right. Now, emotionally for you, when you played Wacken and you got to see the fans' reaction and you got to sort of be back on stage with Ronnie for that moment, how was that for you? Was it everything you expected, or did emotions take over and you go, wow, tears and goosebumps and oh my God?
Well, in a way, I guess it helped that I couldn't see it and I could just see the light. It was pretty nerve-wracking. I wanted to get it right, and we wanted to be good. I'm sure as we do more shows, it'll get a little bit easier. So I really didn't have time for any emotion. It was just, getting on with it and playing the song right and listening to that click and making sure I was on the money and, just playing as well as I could. I did see things afterwards, and I thought it turned out brilliantly. Ronnie was always about, spectacle and theatrics and with dragons and stuff and everything like that. So, I have a feeling that this is something that he would have liked to see. Obviously that's impossible, but in that respect, I think, his sense of extravagance and show and everything, I think it turned out pretty cool.
Yeah, the fan reaction was pretty cool. Now, getting back to the new album, when you get into the studio and you make that new album, are you conscious of we need to make it sound like Dio, or is it Dio Disciples just going to do rock music and it's going to be what it is? Or do you have to sort of fit into a mold and say it has to be, another Holy Diver kind of thing?
No, I don't think. I think we are. We've talked about it, and I think we are trying to create a sound. Obviously, there is going to be a little bit of Dio influence with Craig, obviously, and Scott and me. But I think what we're trying to develop is an actual kind of Dio Disciples sound. And we're trying to capture that same spirit of say Holy Diver or Magica or Killing the Dragon. Some of that will fall into place, which is a natural thing because we were all involved with that. But I think at the end of the day, we are trying to create a Dio Disciples sound as best we can.
And in terms of vocalists, do you stick with Ripper Owens, or is it sort of you'll bring in anybody?
No. I think we've worked with Tim before, and we want to work with him again, and Oni.
Oni Logan,
we're still Oni Logan, yeah. And we're still talking about other people being involved as well. these are people that have been done shows before. So we're just, really in the planning stages with regards to everything. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
Okay, that sounds good. Now, I'm going to ask you some questions about some of your past and some of the things. You recently put up on Facebook that you were at Knebworth for one of John Bonham's last shows, and he recently, of course, it's the anniversary of him passing away. What was that show like, that Knebworth show that that you saw, and what did John mean to you in terms of being interested in drumming and wanting to be a drummer?
Okay, yeah, the show was, it actually could have been a lot better. The show, unfortunately, it was one of those days where it was so windy. I mean, it was like blowing a gale, and that did affect the sound a little bit. The sound would come in and out because of the delay. But I still thought it was an incredible show. The screens were up. It was just great, and he's such an influence. I mean, there's so many people. He's just got that groove. He hits hard, and then he'll play subtly, in between hitting hard and everything. And when I first heard him, I think it was Zeppelin 2 that I first heard. I was just blown away. I'm like, wow, who the hell is this? It was just incredible, and then after that, there was Song Remains the Same. He was just such a massive influence. It's just a shame things had to end at such a, he was such a really a young age. But that's rock and roll.
Yeah, there's a lot of tragedy. AC/DC, a couple of questions on the current state, and then we'll look back at some of the stuff you did. Cliff Williams has decided to retire permanently. What do you think that does for AC/DC, and should the band solicit a new bassist and keep going?
Yeah, it's such a lot has happened in a short period of time. First of all, with Malcolm, that really threw me. I was like, oh my God, really? What? I don't know. I mean, there is Chris is there and Stevie's there and Angus, obviously. So and people love seeing the band and love that music. So I don't think it would be completely out of order or strange to carry on with a new bass player. But I don't know. I haven't been involved with it for so long, But those songs are iconic. I mean, it's like an institution. So maybe it should carry on. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it probably should. If you ask me, at some point, bands and brands become bigger than the members. And I know that sounds bad to say, but AC/DC, I think the songs are just bigger than the individual parts. What was yours?
Yeah, I think you're right. I absolutely think you're right. Sometimes it ends up that the songs are bigger than the band. It's crazy.
It really was. What was your thoughts on Guns N' Roses frontman Axl Rose joining the band, and did you see any of the clips online, and what did you think of it?
Well, at first when I heard about it, I think like a lot of people, is he going to be late? Is he going to show up? Because that would really, I know, Angus and the rest of the guys wouldn't put up with that. So I thought, this is going to be interesting. But I did see it, and I thought he did a great job. When I heard about Brian and his ear problems and stuff, I was like, oh no, this is just getting, bad for worse here. It's what next kind of thing. But I think Axl did a pretty damn good job stepping in and, helping out and finishing up that tour. And the fans got to see the shows that were booked and everything. So I think it worked out. I thought he did a good job.
Yeah, I think he did a great job, and I think he should definitely stay. And I think the band should record something with him, a live album or a new album. But listen, he was the right person to fit in for that.
The thing is, though, we still don't know. There's things going around about Brian, and there's new technology out there that could help Brian out, and he might be able to do an album. I don't know.
Yeah. And listen, I like Brian, and I like Brian, and he did great with the band, but I'm a huge Guns N' Roses fan, and I just find the curiosity of it all to be so intriguing that I just can't accept that it's just these shows and there's nothing that will memorialize it that I can hold in my hand. So, yes, I wish Brian comes back, but just give me one Axl AC/DC something, please.
Yeah, you might be right. You might be right. And I can understand what you're saying too, but, it's always good to see, the original, the heroes up there doing it, so, but I guess it's just speculation at the moment. No one really knows what's going to happen. That's all up to Angus, I guess.
Yeah, so we'll see. Now, let's go back to the mid '90s. You were in UFO for from '95 to '99. Talk to me a little bit about joining that band and what that was like. And well, let's just go with that first.
Yeah, it was, well, and it initially started with a phone call from Michael's manager, Bella, who's since passed away. But it was going to be the Michael Schenker group for a little while there. We were talking back and forth for a couple of months. And then one day it just ended up being, it's not Michael Schenker group, it's UFO. And I'm like, oh, great, this is really cool. I've loved UFO for years. I mean, I've, seen them God knows how many times in Manchester. So, yeah, I mean, it was just great. I mean, there's such a, they're a lot of fun to be around. There's always something going on, and, there's so many of those brilliant songs, obviously that are out there. So I was very humbled and very excited to be involved, and they're great people. I see them when they come. I always make sure I go down and see them and just say hello and shake hands and have a laugh and a drink when they come round and stuff. And it's great. They're really, really cool people.
Yeah, they really are. And of course, you were there in that moment where Michael quit the band halfway through a show. What do you remember about that evening? And how do you get over that?
Well, it was. I'd never, even when I was playing in the very first bands and stuff, I'd never seen anybody react like that on a stage. I mean, he just completely, smashed the hell out of his guitar and stuff. And, everybody had been, there were kind of two camps at the time. It just had to be that way. But Michael would travel kind of separate from the rest of us in the band and everything. He was always fine to me. He always would say hello, and, he was very courteous and stuff, and we chat a little bit and stuff. But I think there was some deep resentment somewhere, between him and the rest of the guys in the band. I don't know where that came from. I don't know what that was about. I just thought I'd leave that one alone. But that was quite a night in. I think it was in Nagoya or Tokyo, something.
Was it in Palo Alto, California?
Oh, that happened before we got to Japan. Yeah, he didn't. He did leave the stage at that time. Yeah. That was in Palo Alto. That's right. And then we went to Japan, and he had another
meltdown
episode. Yeah, meltdown, whatever you want to call it. And I think we had another 3 or 4 shows left to do in Japan after that we couldn't fulfill. We actually all got on the plane and went home the night after that when. But it was a really, really bad time. I'd never seen anything like that. But I've seen Michael on a couple of occasions since, and he's been nice. I haven't really questioned him about what the hell happened. That's his kind of thing. And he's playing brilliant at the moment. It looks like he's having a ball on stage. So it's just one of those bad episodes.
Yeah, he's doing great now with his current lineup, but
Yeah.
Another thing that I'd be remiss if I didn't ask about is the Bowl for Ronnie that's coming up for the Ronnie James Dio Stand Up and Shout Cancer Fund, which is in November 4th.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about that and what the event really is, and who's going to be there and all that wonderful stuff.
It's going to be great. It's Wendy puts it all together, and it's every year, and it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of interviews. There's a lot of different celebrities are there. I'm not exactly sure of the list of people who are going to be there this coming November, but it's a lot of fun, and it raises money for Ronnie's cancer fund. And it's just basically a fun night, it's, and there are auctions and people, there's lots of cool memorabilia for, up for auction. So it's going to be a great night. I've managed to get there on 2 other occasions, I think, because I was on the road the other times and I couldn't make it, unfortunately. But this time I'm going to be there, and it's just a great night, and it's for a great cause.
Yeah, it really is. And I know we're running out of time, so I'll ask you just a couple more questions. Fly on the Wall, AC/DC, that was your first album with the band. What was that like, getting the call that said, hey, you know what, you're in, and then realizing, I'm going to play on an AC/DC album? I mean, what was that like for you professionally and just, as a fan?
Well, I was a fan. I mean, I to get that, I mean, talk about a break. I mean, I was in London at the time, and there was an ad in a paper just to condense the story. And I went down and played, and they liked what I did and invited me back. And I'm in the rehearsal room. Next thing I know, they're talking about tour dates. And I said, does this mean I'm in the band? And Mal leans over and goes, yeah, I guess it does. So, we finished up there. I called my father. He was like, you did what? It was like, so, yeah, I mean, I was pretty young when all that was going down, and I'd had some experience. But, to go from, a small situation to a massive worldwide situation, I mean, I was, a little bit kind of like had my head in a washing machine, it was just incredible, But they were really cool to be around, like I've said before, and they kept focused, and nothing was, it was just play, no massive, dramas going on. It was just us playing and stuff. So, it definitely worked out, and wow, what a break.
Yeah, and what an album, and of course it was recorded out in Montreux, so you've got a great band, a great venue, a great setting to be in. I mean, wow.
Yeah, it was very surreal. I mean, Montreux, as we know, is beautiful. You've got the lake, and you've got all the stories behind the casino and smoke on the water and the whole thing. I was just wandering around, just what the hell is going on? So,
that's great. Now, your first album with Dio was Lock Up the Wolves, but I want to ask you about the Holy Diver Live, because that is such a classic album. What was that like for you, knowing that you were going to play the whole album from front to back and actually be part of the legacy of that album?
Oh yeah, I mean, I love the idea. I mean, Ronnie came up with the idea. And and it was just something else. I mean, Holy Diver is not just. It was great to do it because Holy Diver is not the theme. It's not just Holy Diver and Rainbow in the Dark. I mean, there are so many brilliant songs on that album. I mean, the whole thing, is nonstop. On 10 the whole way through, so, being able to play that was just a great time, and it was just such an honor to actually, get to play it back to back. There's so many brilliant songs on it, and I think it worked out really well. We did it in a way where we would medley into the songs and make it a whole one piece, which I think worked out really well as well.
Yeah, it really did. There was it was a great introduction, and I believe that had Doug Aldrich on. No, was it Doug or was it Craig?
Oh, that was Doug Aldrich on guitar.
Yeah. He's just stunning.
He is.
And I know we said 20 minutes. So when you heard about Ronnie's passing, do you remember where you were and the feeling that came over you?
Yeah, I do remember. Yeah. I think we'd probably leave it there.
Okay, we'll leave it there.
Thanks, Mitch.
No, I apologize. Sorry about that.
It's all right. No problem. It's all right. No worries.
Well, there we go. Then you know what? Let's leave everything there. It was been an absolute pleasure talking to you, and I look forward.
You too, Mitch.
I look forward to seeing Operation Mindcrime. There is that Trinity tour coming up with Tim and Blaze and Jeff, which should be fun. And thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Rich. Mitch. It was really nice talking with you. Anytime.
Absolutely. Thank you now.
Okay, man. Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And there you have it, folks, my interview with drummer Simon Wright. Please check me out on Twitter at Mitch Lafon, MITCHLAFON, one-on-one, Mitch Lafon on Facebook, and paypal.me/Mitch Lafon. Thank you for listening, and bye for now. Oh, my.